the coldest places on Earth where human survival reaches its absolute limit. Certain places get extraordinarily cold because of three factors working together: latitude, altitude, and geography. Places near the poles receive sunlight at a very low angle, delivering far less warmth. During polar winters, the sun disappears entirely for months, leaving no solar heating whatsoever. Altitude makes it worse. For every 1,000 feet gained, the temperature drops another 3.5 degrees. And locations deep inland with no nearby ocean have no moderating buffer against extreme temperature swings. When all three factors combine, you get the coldest places on Earth. Our first destination is Oymyakon, a small village in northeastern Russia holding one of the most extraordinary titles on Earth: the coldest permanently inhabited place on the planet. In January 1924, the temperature reached minus 96 degrees Fahrenheit. Yet approximately 500 people call Oymyakon home year-round. They were not stranded there. They chose to stay.
Life in Oymyakon operates by rules completely alien to anyone from a warmer climate. Cars are never turned off during winter because restarting a frozen engine is essentially impossible. They run continuously for months. Glasses cannot be worn outside because metal frames freeze instantly to skin. Mobile phones die within minutes outdoors. Graves must be dug using hot coals over several days because the ground is permanently frozen 1,000 feet deep.
Children walk to school in conditions that would shut down entire cities elsewhere. School only closes when temperatures drop below minus 61 degrees Fahrenheit. Food is almost exclusively meat and fish because growing vegetables in permanently frozen ground is impossible. And yet, the people of Oymyakon have built a community and a culture that has persisted for generations in conditions most of humanity could not endure for a single week.
If Oymyakon is the coldest inhabited place, Antarctica is the coldest place on Earth, full stop. On July 21, 1983, scientists recorded minus 128.6 degrees Fahrenheit at the Soviet Vostok station. That is colder than the average surface temperature of Mars. Cold enough that carbon dioxide would freeze solid. Cold enough that conventional materials behave in completely different ways. Antarctica holds approximately 70% of the world's entire freshwater supply, locked in an ice sheet nearly 3 miles thick in places. Scientists from multiple nations maintain research stations here year-round. Winter overcrews, small groups who stay through the Antarctic winter, experience complete isolation for months. No flights in or out are possible because aircraft simply cannot operate in those temperatures. The psychological and physical demands rival anything experienced by submarine crews or space station astronauts. With over 300,000 people, Yakutsk in Russia is the coldest city on Earth. A genuine urban center with universities, restaurants, and theaters operating in average winter temperatures of minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Walking through Yakutsk in January is unlike any urban experience on the planet. Breath freezes instantly, creating clouds of ice crystals with every exhale. Every building in Yakutsk is constructed on special stilts driven into permanently frozen ground because the heat from a building would melt the permafrost beneath it, causing the structure to sink and collapse. Underground pipes cannot be buried, so they run above ground in insulated conduits, snaking through the city like industrial arteries. An outdoor market operates year-round. Vendors simply leave frozen fish and meat outside, where the natural temperature keeps everything perfectly preserved. Nature itself is the freezer. Extreme cold does something alarming to the human body. When exposed to severe cold, the body immediately redirects blood away from the extremities toward the vital core organs, protecting the heart, lungs, and brain first. Fingers, toes, ears, and nose lose blood flow, which is why frostbite almost always begins there. Without intervention, frostbite progresses from numbness through blistering to tissue death and potential amputation.
Hypothermia begins when core body temperature drops below 95 degrees Fahrenheit. Shivering eventually stops as muscles exhaust their energy. Confusion sets in, then drowsiness. In the final stages, victims frequently experience a paradoxical sensation of warmth, leading some to remove their clothing, a phenomenon documented in numerous cold weather fatalities. The indigenous peoples of the Arctic have developed physiological and cultural adaptations to these realities over thousands of years, representing one of the most sophisticated bodies of practical human survival knowledge ever developed.
The coldest places on Earth are also where climate change is having its most dramatic effects. The Arctic is warming approximately 4 times faster than the global average. Permafrost, frozen for thousands of years, is thawing for the first time in human memory. Buildings in Yakutsk and across Siberia are tilting and sinking as the frozen ground beneath them softens. Ancient methane, far more potent than carbon dioxide, is being released from thawing permafrost in quantities that alarm scientists worldwide. In Oyamakan, residents report winters are noticeably shorter than a generation ago. Antarctica is losing ice faster than at any point in recorded history. The implications for global sea levels are profound. The coldest places on Earth are the canary in the coal mine for the entire planet's climate future. What happens there first will eventually affect everywhere else. Perhaps the most fascinating thing about the coldest places on Earth is the people who refuse to leave. Ask residents of Oymyakon or Yakutsk whether they would move somewhere warmer, and many say no. The cold is home. The cold is identity. There is a quiet pride that comes from surviving what most of humanity cannot endure. A confidence that comes from knowing the environment that breaks others is simply Tuesday for you. Researchers who volunteer for Antarctic winter over assignments describe it as one of the most transformative experiences of their lives. The isolation, the darkness, and the complete dependence on a small community of fellow survivors creates bonds and self-knowledge that gentler environments simply cannot produce. There is something deeply human about going to the edge of what is survivable and finding out what is on the other side.